Hey everybody, this is Jason Ostrowski, and welcome to another edition of the Everything Real Estate Podcast. In this week's episode, we are going to do a podcast recast of the Accelerate Live event with Jason Pantana that took place last week. If you're unfamiliar with Jason, he is a national speaker, a consultant, and business coach for Tom Ferry. And the topic was the referral coefficient, the multi-channel marketing roadmap to reap deals from your database. And for roughly 45 minutes, Jason gave us great idea after great idea for our business. So for those of you that were on the event last week, you know how much information Jason has to share, so you're going to want to take another listen. And for those of you that were not at the event last week, be ready to take away some great information for your business. So let's get right into it with Jason Pantana, and we'll pick it up on the other side.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be participating in this amazing series. I know these events and these webinars are a staple, and I'm honored to be here. It sounds like you've had some amazing trainings recently, and let me get my screen up so we can all see the slides and a couple of housekeeping items. One, I talk very quickly. This will be a highly tactical, highly actionable session, so be prepared to take notes wherever you are. So I invite you to have a mentality of R&D, rip off and duplicate. I'll walk you through the strategies. I'll talk about how to approach building out a multi-channel marketing plan for yourself. But as you see how this agent or that agent or that agent executed on a specific idea, have this mentality of rip off and duplicate. What can you learn without reinventing the wheel to invite new business opportunities and grow your bottom line in your business? Now, today's session is called the Referral Coefficient. It's a multi-channel marketing roadmap to reap deals from your database, because referrals are the lifeblood of your business. And if you're not marketing to get that residual of referrals, you're missing a huge opportunity to scale your business up, to create a predictable, repeatable, scalable business for yourself. I would bet you this. I would bet you if you looked at your business, whether you're a new agent or if you've been doing this for a long time or a reasonably long time, wherever you are in your business, I'll bet if you looked across where your deals come from historically, you would admit that your database is probably your best source of business. And by database, I mean your past clients and your sphere of influence contacts. Your database is probably directly or indirectly of more impact in terms of where you generate opportunities for listings, for buyers, than anything else in your business. And the best part about your database is it costs you nothing except time, energy, and strategy. If you look at studies from the National Association of Realtors, every year NAR publishes a report called The Profile of Homebuyers and Home Sellers. And it's an analysis on a national scale of homebuyers and home sellers and trends that we can learn from as their service providers. And in that report every year, there is a section that talks about how buyers and how sellers identify the agent they hired. How do they find an agent? What was the lead source is really what it drills down to. And if you look at that data, the most recent report says that 63% of sellers found their agent by way of repeat or referral business. This right here, that is your database, repeat and referral business. And if you play for referrals, you'll get the repeat just by extension because you're earning trust. I wonder, when was the last time you really thought through, what does it take to refer somebody? What goes into the decision in terms of confidence to make a referral? Because when somebody refers you, they are staking their own reputation on their recommendation of your services. So my thinking is you should make that an easy layup. That should be an absolute no-brainer that anybody in your database would be crazy not to refer you. Because making a referral is not as easy as it could be. We can make it a whole lot easier with the right marketing plan. 63% of sellers found their agent by way of repeat referral business. In fact, if you look at the last 5 years of reports, buyers and sellers, you'll find that roughly somewhere about 60 to 70% of all transactions are the result of repeat referral business. So think about it like this. Just about 2/3, I'm averaging a little bit, roughly 2/3 of every deal in America is the result of repeat or referral-based business. Your database is a gold mine, but it means shifting from a transactional mindset into a relational mindset. How do you stay in touch with your contacts consistently so that when the opportunity arises to recommend your services, to refer you, to repeat business with you, you're that absolute no-brainer choice. This is a post I shared on Instagram. It's been a while now, but I shared it because it's meant to be an exercise of thought. It's meant to get you to consider what the possibility is within your own database of past clients, sphere of influence contacts, what's already on the table for you. And so it says, I'll go through it with you. 66% of Americans own homes. Okay. Approximately 8.5% of Americans move annually. That's a conservative number. Okay. Of those, more than 91% use an agent to buy or sell. And the average person knows about 150 people. So do the math. Here's the potential of a 500 person database. 500, that's your database. If you have 500 in your sphere, 500 past clients, just all added together. In fact, you could just grab your phone, scroll to the bottom of your contacts, and simply begin with how many contacts are already in your phone? How many contacts are in your KV Core and in your CRM right now? How many opportunities are there? And you multiply that by the 150 people that the average person knows. It's called Dunbar's number. And this is a thought exercise. It's a tad utopian, but come along with me. Times 66% own homes, times 8.5% move annually, times 91% use an agent equals, there's the potential of 3,500 sales a year happening within and around your database. Now, they may not all be in your exact marketplace, but I think 3,500 is a big enough number that you would realize the massive opportunity that is right beneath your feet with your database. But the problem is, you're not the only agent they know, like, and trust. There are other agents in your marketplace who also have those relationships. And so the question is, are you the agent of choice or are you an agent of chance? And the odds never favor an agent of chance. What does it mean and what does it take for you to become that agent of choice? Well, it means you've got to create top of mind awareness. It means you've got to be in their recent history of memory so that when the time comes to buy, sell, invest, or refer, you're the absolute no-brainer. To solve for this, it's a question of marketing. Now, disclaimer, this presentation is not to say that you should not call your database. This is not an excuse for not doing a client event. This is not to stop you from that one-on-one, belly-to-belly interaction with your database. What we're going to focus on today is how do you prime those conversations so that when you call, when you bump into somebody in line at the grocery store or you see them at church, but the relationship is already so warm, you're already so top of mind that the opportunity for that referral is so much more palpable because you've done the work of marketing yourself, of creating a message and creating a consideration set where they're thinking about you. This is a marketing class today. This is about how do you prime yourself so that when you have those conversations, the harvest is ready to be picked. Today, we're going to introduce one nurture plan to rule them all, a little Lord of the Rings reference. I want you to imagine for yourself, this class can actually benefit you beyond just your own database. Imagine a universal revolving door marketing plan. It's one marketing plan that's always going. You drop in all your leads and contacts. You can drop in leads, you can drop in past clients, drop in sphere of influence contacts, drop in anybody and everybody. And it's the marketing that never stops. It's a revolving door. I've noticed a lot of agents, their marketing is tied to the market. Top producers' marketing should not be tied to the market. If all you're doing is marketing your listings, then you're not truly marketing. I'm not saying don't market your listings. I'm saying don't stop with just your listings. What are you doing to create a relationship of professional nature with every person in your database so that, again, when the time comes and you don't know when it's going to arise, to make that referral, to think about you, you've already positioned yourself top of mind to be that one agent they're going to refer every single time. So it's a one nurture plan to rule them all. And I have this note here, that's a multi-channel marketing plan. There's a lot of psychology behind this. In fact, there's a principle called the frequency illusion. It's a psychological concept called, again, the frequency illusion. And in a marketing context, here's what it means. If I am, let's say, driving my car around town and I'm a homeowner, so let's just say, and I get off the interstate and I go down to my neighborhood and I see a little sign and it's your billboard, like a little billboard entering the community I see every day. And then I get home and I check my mail before I go into the house and I pull out your postcard. There you are again. And then I get inside and I get back to work or whatever I'm doing, and I open up my email and I get an email from you. There you are. I saw you on the billboard. I saw you on the postcard. I got your email. I see you everywhere. What the frequency illusion says is that when a consumer, from a marketing standpoint, when a consumer is exposed to your marketing messaging across a variety of different channels, the billboard, the postcard, the email, in the scenario that I gave you, it creates an illusion that they're seeing and hearing from you more frequently than they really are. And so a lot of people ask me, hey, Jason, where should I put all my marketing money? And I'm like, well, that question is biased to assume I would tell you to put it all on this or all on that, but I would never say that. I would say you're actually making your marketing cost more than it should by not dividing it up. You should be leveraging a multi-channel marketing framework because it will create that I see you everywhere effect, and the psychology proves it. So we're going to talk about 3 different channels. This is a marketing plan, not a prospecting plan. This is designed to make your prospecting plan that much more effective. Now, look at this table. We got a channel, frequency, and strategy. Those are our 3 columns. On the first section here, the content and video is our first channel. We'll talk about making content. We'll talk about videos for quite a bit on an ongoing basis, and we'll talk about it. If I was going to describe the strategy, it would be to produce and to promote your content. So there's actually 2 actions here. You got to make it, produce it, and you have to promote it, put some money behind it, if you will, to get your content to go work for you. Let's talk about what content is. Content is simply media. Gary Vaynerchuk made a comment like almost a decade ago, and he said that anybody who's running a business of any kind is running a media company, whether or not they know it. Social media is the media of the day, and video is its preferred format of media. Content is just media. And I would tell you today, in this day and age, in 2023, marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. It doesn't do anything. But when you produce content, you have options. I made the comment a moment ago that a lot of agents' marketing is tied to their listings, and if they don't have listings, then they have nothing to market. That's not content. That's just listing marketing, and it's a piece of the pie. But what are you producing on a regular basis to get yourself a momentum? Because the best and the biggest never stop marketing, and the way they never stop is by continually creating content, specifically video content. We're going to double down today on vertical videos. I am sure that you have surfed through TikTok or Reels on Instagram and Facebook and even YouTube Shorts. A vertical video is simply this. Instead of my phone like this, it goes like this. And vertical videos are absolutely tearing it up these days. They are on fire right now. So we're going to leverage the trends. We're going to talk about what's working best with the vertical videos. I'm going to share with you 3 different vertical videos, and they're more like vertical video shows that you're going to commit to on a regular basis. So if you're watching this and you're reluctant to get in on video, I hope to change your mind quickly, because I would argue that there's no better medium to capture the trifecta of know, like, and trust than video. It's at the center. This is a relationship business, always has been, always will be. It's a know you, like you, trust you business. And there's no marketing medium that is better equipped and able to convey your being known, your being liked, your being trusted on a professional level than video. Now, I'm curious. I'm going to put a question in the chat for y'all. And here's the question. I want you to tell me in the chat, what do you sell? I ask this question all the time, and I generally hear 2 answers. I either hear somebody say, I sell myself, which is kind of vague. And I typically respond and say, that's not always okay. You got to be more specific. And then I hear people say, I sell real estate, which is kind of true, but kind of not true. You actually help people who want to own it or want to buy it transact in real estate, but you're actually performing a service of transaction brokerage, if you will. If you reverse the question, you instead ask the question, what is it folks are buying from you? Well, at that point, you're like, well, I guess I'm an information. They're buying my expertise. They're buying your ability to guide them through making the best possible choice, whether buying or selling. So the way I like to phrase it is, you sell your expertise about real estate and the way you convey it, which is unique to you and nobody else. Now, with that in mind, can you think of a better medium to convey your expertise only the way that you can convey your expertise because it's uniquely yours, then video. Because I can't. It's the ultimate best to establish who you are in the marketplace, to gain know, like, and trust. What do you sell? You sell your expertise in the way you convey it. Hence, video. So of our 3 videos, the first kind of video to talk about is called a talking head video. And I'm going to give you an example. This is Shannon Mangan. And here's some ideas for you. Could be market reports. Could be news about real estate. Could be tips and advice. She's doing what's called a green screen, where you put a background behind you and you react to the news. Give it a watch and ask yourself, could you execute on this on a regular basis? Not just like every now and again. Consistency wins the day. How could you do this repetitiously? And we're not going to get into the mechanics today of the green screen and how you make that kind of content. But the point I want to stress to you is, hey, you sell your expertise. Are you putting that on sale? Because this is a quote that I got from Phil Jones. I love this. Marketing isn't something you do to people. It's what you do for people. You see, a lot of agents gain the reputation of being salesy because they don't know what they sell. If you recognize what you sell as your expertise, then you could give it away all day, every day, and nobody's going to ever call you salesy for it. They're just going to call you. And then a lot of folks struggle when it comes to reaching out to their database because they're like, well, my database isn't necessarily looking to buy or sell right now. Well, that's not necessarily true, but if you have a transactional mindset, not a relational mindset, I can see where you get off thinking that. But if you instead invest in being the expert, always keeping somebody informed in what's happening in the marketplace, you are so much better positioned to earn their know you, like you, trust you, here's the referral, than if you just every now and again check in. A lot of folks, when it comes to reaching out to their database, they hide their expertise. They think I don't want to talk about the market because what if they're not looking to buy or sell? Well, forgive me for being blunt, but why else would they listen to you about anything else that's not your wheelhouse when this is your wheelhouse? You sell your expertise and the way you convey it. Now, technically speaking, you get to sell 2 things in this marketplace. You sell yourself, i.e. your expertise, and you also get to sell your listings. When you use your listings to sell yourself, it's a big opportunity. It's a chemical reaction that's got a compound effect for you. So, the second kind of video you should make is a property tour type of video. But it could be a lifestyle film. It could be a short featured video. Look, my personal belief is every listing deserves a video. It's a great way to market yourself. Are you leveraging your listings to get more opportunities? But look, here's what I want to get at for the purposes of our meeting today. This is a know you, like you, trust you business. We are talking about how to get more referrals. We've got to create some social proof. When you are doing the thing the consumer thinks you're doing, showing and selling homes, it puts you in a state of action. They see you doing the work, and therefore they're much more likely to recommend you for when they see opportunities for you to do that work for somebody they know, so they can make that referral. So showcase your listings or showcase your company's listings. Get the consent of your listing agents. Now, I'm not suggesting you make videos without getting the proper consent, follow all the rules, but I am suggesting for you to use listings to create talk, to create buzz. Do it all the right ways, of course. You get what your content attracts. If you make videos that are designed for buyers, you're going to get buyers. If you make videos that are made for sellers, you're going to get listings. If you make videos that are about your hobbies or your pets or unrelated topics, you're not going to attract the right kind of viewership. What do you sell? You sell your expertise in the way you convey it. And algorithmically, when it comes to your content that you're producing, you need to be on topic. There are a lot of folks who are missing the mark in real estate right now. There's a lot of folks who are missing the mark because they haven't, I'm going to try to articulate this as easily as I can. They're living in an old school social media marketing where, oh, the people who follow me are the people who see my content and they already know what I do for a living, so I'm not going to talk about real estate because they know I'm in real estate. No, it doesn't work like that. You get what your content attracts. So my recommendation for you is to get so useful, to produce videos that are so valuable to people who watch them that when the opportunity comes to buy, sell, invest, or refer, it's you and nobody else. You are operating in a league of your own because you get what your content attracts. Third kind of video is local social could be you featuring a local business. It could be an area tour of walking trails or some unique amenity in your area, or it could be documenting or highlighting some events or some local news that's relevant only to locals. All right, now here's the broader topic I want for us to talk about today. This is a screenshot of an article from Q4 earnings of last year from Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. And Mark Zuckerberg, said about Meta, right now about 15% of the content in a person's Facebook feed, and a little more than that on their Instagram feed, is recommended by our AI from people, groups, or accounts you don't follow. And then he said, we're going to more than double it by the end of this year. What I'm getting at is old school social media is not what it used to be. You're not just seeing content from people you chose to follow or from your friends, and they're not either. The algorithm is determining a lot of what you see and what they see based upon interests. It's the TikTok for you effect, if you will. But this can be leveraged to your advantage. Because what if you made content that was so hyper local, you would effectively force these algorithms to show your content to locals. So for example, this is one of our coaching clients. This is Chris Colgan, and he makes hyper-local videos that nobody would care about except for people who live in his small little town up in Northern Virginia. But here's what I want to stress. This is a message he sent me. He's getting 10 leads a week off of this. Now I'm deviating from the topic a little bit. He's getting 10 leads a week from this, posting hyperlocal news and showcasing the area, more of an info agent. He's not trying to be funny or to get other agents to watch or follow. It's all about the community. And he's getting noticed all over the place. So the 3 kinds of videos to double down on are talking heads, local social, and property tours. That's what I want to see, your mix of content. But you might be thinking, well, Jason, you just said that even if I make this, how do I know my followers are going to see this stuff? I mean, aren't we talking about nurturing relationships that we already have? And presumably my past clients in Sphere would be my followers. Well, that's why you got to pay to play too. Retargeting means that you're redirecting something at somebody who's already in an audience that's been built. Advertising platforms like Facebook and Instagram, which is Meta ads, like TikTok ads, like LinkedIn ads, all have a common feature whereby you can take a spreadsheet of all your contacts and upload it and then target them with your content. So let's break that down for a moment. Each of you has access to a CRM. You can export all your contacts from that CRM into a spreadsheet. It's called a CSV file. And it's like column A is their name, and column B is their phone number, and column C is their email address, and it's different points is their contact info. That's all that it is. You can then go into platforms like Facebook and Instagram ads, and you can upload that data into their portal, and they'll cross-reference the list, and they'll say, oh, that's Jane. Yeah, that's Jane. And they'll just do a matching of who's on your list, who's a user on their platform, and then you can target your ad to those people exactly, whether they follow you or not, as often as you want, so to speak. A lot of people ask me, well, what kind of an ad would I want to show them? The answer is you should retarget them with your content. Why? Well, because what you sell is your expertise, okay? And your content is better at declaring that expertise than anything else. So your best sales pitch is your expertise, and that's your content. So what if you took your content and put some money behind it to retarget all your database contacts so they see your content all the time? Because they may not see it if you just post it organically on Facebook and Instagram. And if they don't see it, then it didn't do any good because they didn't see it. So here is a strategy called a meta multiplier ad, because the effect you want to create is everywhere I go, I see you everywhere I go. That means you are on their radar. It means you're top of mind. Okay, next section of our multi-channel marketing plan is email campaigns. We are going to pick up our pace. The first section was a lot of heavy lifting. Second section's easier. So email campaigns sent on a weekly basis. 2 kinds of email campaigns. Bulk campaigns, like one-to-many campaigns. And we'll talk about what are called calibrated calls to action. First, let's talk about bulk campaigns or mass emails. There are lots of service providers. I believe you have an option through your CRM tools that the company provides to you, and that's a great option. Just to give you some context, you've probably heard of Constant Contact. These are the kinds of tools we're talking about. It's not sending an email through Gmail or through Outlook. You're sending out a mass email to your entire database. And I don't really care what tool you use, so long as you have a tool, and you already have a tool. So use the tool that you already have is my best recommendation. In terms of what you send, the first piece is your weekly email roundup. This is Matt Curtis, and he crushes it. And I'll fly through the sections of this. For context, Matt Curtis has a huge email database. He's accumulated over years. He's the #1 agent and team in Alabama. He's generating about 24 to 26 reply to email, schedule listing appointment inquiries per quarter with this email. And it's got a few sections. It's got a nice header. It's got a featured video. It's got a call to action. It's got featured listings. It's got another video. It's got a sneak peek to go see listings for this month. And it's got some local happenings. It's a newsletter. But you'll notice he's repurposing his content. Marketing without content is like a bow without arrows. But when you have content, you can do stuff with it. It's like when you have money. When you have money, you can spend it. You can do stuff with it. You can invest it. You can put it somewhere. When you have content, specifically video content, it's not just about posting it on social. It's about the ad to retarget your followers. It's about the email to repurpose your content to get mileage out of the content you're producing. We live in a day and age where you're either making media or you're not marketing. But if you are making the media, the videos, then you deserve to get mileage out of what you're doing to make sure you're milking it for all it's worth, so to speak. All right. He also sends out another email. This is his call to action email. He sends out one like this every week. Hi, Jason. Could you finish the sentence for me? If I could sell my house for blank, I would list my home this spring. I can't wait to hear your answer. The reason why he can send this out is because he earned the right. You see, his newsletter is so valuable that he's earned the right to call people to action in his database. A lot of people just sort of bruise their email lists. They just CTA them like they can without any cause and effect. But you have to look at it and say, like, well, end of day, like, what do I sell? I sell my services as an expert. Okay, so just demonstrate it and let people come to you. And that's what Matt's doing. And it's resulting in his database he is mining his list for listings. They're coming back to him. They're forwarding the emails. It's creating a massive impact in his business. Email marketing is completely underutilized. So just for reference, there's two parts to it. It's the bulk campaigns. That's the newsletter sent on a weekly basis. And then drop in a CTA once you feel like you've earned that right to make the recommendation, to invite a customer into taking an action, email them. Mass email is massively underutilized. Okay, last section, and then we'll get into some Q&A, is what we call everywhere ads. I see you everywhere. That's the magic phrase. These are done on a monthly basis. YouTube in-stream ads and banner ads. We'll talk about two different kinds of everywhere ads. The first is these in-stream YouTube ads. You might call them YouTube commercials. I wonder if you even knew if you could run those ads, but you can run those ads. And what's really interesting is the targeting on YouTube ads is interesting. You can create a YouTube ad, which is through Google Ads because Google owns YouTube. And you could target homeowners in a specific area of town. You could also create an ad that targets people who are literally in market looking for a real estate agent in a particular area of town. And then you could also upload your own list to YouTube and retarget your customers so when they're on YouTube, they can see your ads. Do you see like how these are, by the way, these things are cheap. They're massively underutilized. What is your database worth to you when you consider how big the pie really is of repeat referral business? I could make the argument you can't afford not to market to your database. Now, another idea is display network ads. These are the banner ads that you see literally everywhere as you peruse the internet. They are square shaped and they are wide and skinny, tall and skinny. They pop up. They're in the footers of Candy Crush and games you play on your phone and so forth. And these ads are ridiculously cheap to produce. They're made by Google. So if you've ever wondered, how is it you're coming to see those ads? It's generally a Google display network ad. Google has a network of like 3 million apps and websites where they can run their ads on so they can follow you across the internet. Just like with the YouTube ads, you can upload your own audience and retarget them. You can also just target your whole geographic area. And I can get you For about the cost of one stamp, I can get you 300 to 500 people to see one of those ads for the cost of one stamp. They are cheap and they don't work alone. But if you use these as sort of a connective tissue that brings all your other marketing together, they just create that, there you are again, I see you everywhere kind of effect. And an important note about these, looking for a realtor, I think that's important. You want to reinforce what you do, but I need to see your face. Show me your face, because that's the person people remember. Your brain is programmed to basically ignore these ads. But if I see somebody I recognize, or who I've seen somewhere else, remember the frequency illusion. Oh, there they are again. It's like you're training somebody's brain to be looking for where's Waldo. Well, you're Waldo in this scenario. The goal I have for you is just your brand everywhere. I want you to be the agent of choice. Again, if it were easy, everybody would do it. Is it easy? No, but is it marketing? Heck yeah, it's marketing. And the market belongs to those who market. My goal for you, my wish, my dream, my ambition for you, I want it to be your brand under the dome of your marketplace. Because I want you to be so top of mind that whenever somebody whispers the word real estate, your database is so programmed and trained to think about, you got to talk to her. She's the best. You got to go talk to him. He's the absolute best. They help my friend. They help me. Because it takes a high level of certainty and confidence for someone to feel that they can make that recommendation. Is your marketing, is it putting out the red carpet so that your database contacts feel a high sense of, you're going to make me look good. When I make this recommendation, when I refer you, I'm going to look good for doing it because you're that good. If you can make your marketing sell you like that, you're doing the job. You are having the referral coefficient work in your business. Your brand under the dome of your marketplace. When I look at the market today, the winners are the agents with strong personal brands. They're maximizing relationships and they're everywhere. They're doubling down right now. Are you doubling down right now? Because that's what it takes to win in this marketplace. And it may feel like I've talked to a lot of agents who are like, well, we're really cutting a lot of costs right now. The market's slowing down. And I'm like, then why are you slowing down? You should be doubling down when the market slows down. I'm not talking about spending recklessly, but I'm simply saying to you, when everybody else is backing off, you should be doubling down. You should be gaining mind share so that as market share returns, you get that compound rate of growth because you're the agent of choice. And of course, remember, this plan is not a one and done plan. The results are in the repetition. It's the content on the flywheel. It's the emails all the time. It's the everywhere ads. It's always happening. You can't have flippant marketing. You can't have on again, off again marketing. You have to never stop marketing to build your brand, to create and hold people's attention so that they think of you and nobody else. Now, results take time and effort and energy. To do something consistently, you have to ask yourself, how disciplined are you? How committed to a schedule are you? How confident are you that what you're doing is going to pan out the way you want it to pan out so you stay the course? It's all about being held accountable to it because we're going into the end of the year and we're going to ramp up for 2024. And 2024 is going to be a market that I believe is a defining market. Who's going to grow and scale their business when times are a little bit more lean? And who's going to be fearful and back off and not double down? This is as much of a mindset as it is anything else. To grab the slides, just go to my website, jasonpantana.com/foxandroach. It needs to be lowercase /foxandroach. You can download the slides and be on your merry way to executing the referral coefficient marketing roadmap, multi-channel marketing roadmap. This is a little bit of marketing geek speak, but there are a couple of metrics that matter. Saturation, frequency, how often is somebody seeing and hearing from you? Are you just getting a little dent of the market or are you blowing it up? Because saturation matters. If you're a drop in the bucket, that's not going to have a huge impact. But if you're denting the can in terms of people's attention, that's when you're hard to ignore. What you'll see in our ecosystem of coaching clients who are doing marketing at a high level consistently is they're producing videos because the videos then become the lifeblood of the emails, of the ads. You can't start backwards. You got to have the thing you're offering, and that's your videos. So I would get really serious about those. I'll give you an analogy or a parallel story. This isn't about you. This is about more the general objection about being on video. Usually it's a fear of what if I look silly or say something wrong, or what if I don't do a good job? It's typically something like that. I remember when I was an early speaker in my career, I was at an event and I was backstage and people were funneling into the room, like 1,000 people, and I was so nervous. And I was backstage just doing this, standing next to a guy who speaks all the time. And he was as cool as a cucumber. Wasn't nervous one iota. And I was like, it's a lot of people out there. Are you nervous? And he goes, no. And I was like, I'm like shaking in my boots. How are you not nervous right now? And he said, I'm not. And I said, but how are you not nervous right now? And he said, I don't think you want to know the answer. And I said, I really want to know the answer. And he told me, he said, well, you see all those people coming in out there. He said, they didn't come here to watch you be funny or screw up or anything. Like, they're here to learn. And he said, so I'm thinking through the lens of, how can I serve these people? What do they need from me? And you're thinking through the lens of, are they going to think I'm good? How are they going to respond to me? Me. He's like, you have an inward focus. I have an outward focus. When you shift to an outward focus and you think, how can I serve this audience's needs today? My nerves dissipate. They go away because it's not about me anymore. And so I would say, generally speaking with video, you have to go through the thought exercise of, it's not really about me. Yes, I'm on video, and maybe I'll do a good job, maybe I won't, but that's not really the core issue. The core issue is a consumer can't make an informed choice without being informed, and that rests on me. So I'm going to do my best to get them the information they need to make that informed choice. And then all of a sudden, the resistance typically melts away because you're like, well, if I look good or don't, who cares? That's not what it's about.
Jason, This has been fantastic. So we appreciate you, and thank you again. And we're 1 minute over. So thanks all, everybody. Thanks for hanging in. Have a good lunch, and we'll see you soon.
That was the podcast Recast this week with Jason Pantana. I just want to finish on this note. Jason had so many good ideas to share last week, and that's the point of recasting this podcast, is so if you missed it, you can take away some of these great ideas. But it can feel a little bit overwhelming. Some of these ideas are easy to execute on, others may not be. I would say pick the ones that appeal to you the most and try that first. Try and master some of these things that Jason talks about. Employ them in your business and start there, and you can keep adding on. But don't feel overwhelmed. You got to start someplace. Everybody starts at the beginning. So just by deciding to start and making a commitment to a couple of these ideas, you're already halfway there. Well, that's it for the podcast this week. We will be back in another couple of weeks with a new topic, a new guest, and as always, if you haven't heard something that you would like us to cover, please reach out to me, jason.ostrowski@foxroach.com. And if you haven't liked and subscribed to the podcast or left us a review yet, please do so. It helps us to reach more people. Once again, this is Jason Ostrowski saying stay safe out there, stay selling, and we'll catch you on the next episode of the Everything Real Estate Podcast.